Okay, so welcome everybody. I actually decided to organize this masterclass because I've been coaching and mentoring many senior managers, executives in these last two years since the pandemic, and I really noticed that there's a strong need to achieve work-life balance. Because many people are going through burnouts, are going through really high level of stress that are not sustainable in the long run. And I experienced it myself in the past when I was in corporate, and I learned a lot about how it is possible to achieve work-life balance while staying a high performer. And this is why this is the title of this masterclass, basically. So let's start. So basically, as for my background, very quickly, because you don't know me, I have as for my experience, I have more than 18 years of international experience as an executive in big corporations, basically till 2020. So till the beginning of the pandemic, I have been working for these companies that you can see here. I have been during more than 10 years leading teams as a senior marketing director and board member. So I had, related to this topic, I had high level of stress and I had a job that was extremely demanding. And since 2 years now, I decided to pivot and shift, and I'm an international executive career advisor and strategist. I'm also a business mentor for startups, and I'm also a speaker, basically for companies and also for business schools internationally. So just for my story, very quickly, for many years, I suffered from a lack of meaning and purpose. And for many years, I had no answer, no solution to it. And I also struggled in terms of work-life balance, like both of you probably did, until I decided actually to take action some years ago. And I hired a mentor that helped me clarify my life purpose at that time, and make me really be aligned with what really matters to me and with my core values. And since that moment, I never stopped investing in my personal and professional growth, because it really made me be aware of being in balance. Has a lot to do with self-awareness, has a lot to do with being aligned with who we want to be, basically. And for me, that was a starting point to a deep personal and professional transformation, which led to a big impact in my life and career. And actually, from that moment, I decided to certify in coaching and leadership while I was still a marketing director. And actually, when I was doing it, it was from a place of passion. And I wanted to have tools to help my teams and my family and the people around me. And actually, in 2020, I decided to activate that B plan and really make it my A plan, and live my biggest passion, which is today to help executives achieve their most challenging career objectives in alignment with who they are and what they really want. So basically, what is the context today? So since the pandemic, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I've seen many executives suffering high level of stress, feeling tired, exhausted, saturated, which is impacting actually their energy level, their performance, and their general mental and physical, emotional well-being. And most of them feel an urgent need to achieve more balance and sustainable well-being, because we can't work 10 hours, 12 hours a day. You can make it for 1 month, you can make it you can make a hard, long weekend working. You can make exceptionally a marketing plan or a business plan where you have to give it all. But we can't have this rhythm in a long run, because our body, our mind, our emotions are not created to work at a very intensive rhythm without rest, basically. And I'm going to explain that very much in detail. And there's also, I see many executives that want to find new ways to balance between work and personal life, yet staying at the top in performance and achievements. And this is actually, Henny, what you just mentioned me at the beginning, which is absolutely something very, very relevant for many people. However, many people see it as a huge challenge, since the mentality at work is not always supportive. And I'm going to explain that also very much in detail. It's very important to understand the why we behave in a certain way and why we struggle to behave in another way. And basically what is needed is to change mindset and have a new approach to life that integrates work, not the other way around. While most of the time in corporate, we focus on our work as our main vertebral column, and then we fit in our life. So this is, most people live this way, focus on work and then we fit in life. And actually the right approach is to have clarity on what are your life priorities and how you integrate work into it. And you can work long hours, but it needs to be connected with your life, it needs to be connected with your life purpose, with your core values, with who you really are naturally and who you really want to be. And from there, you can start practicing new routines with healthy daily habits that will provide you balance, joy, and fulfillment. So what are you going to learn in this masterclass? So in this masterclass, you're going to learn what are the 4 beliefs and limitations that are blocking you from achieving a sustainable work-life balance. Then I'm going to show you the 5 secrets or the 5 steps you need to master to create more balance every day with concrete daily routines that are basically based on studies and real experiences from successful high performers. And finally, how to shift your mindset from suffering into enjoying, which is something very typical in big corporations or in companies in general. Like, if you want to succeed, you have to suffer. That's a belief. That's not real. That's not true. But this is the way we got programmed, basically. So how to shift your mindset from suffering into enjoying consciously, handling peacefully your life and career challenges. So this is the agenda of the day. We're going to talk about the 4 beliefs I want you to avoid as of today and turn them around into the 5 secrets I want you to master, basically, and to put in practice, again, as of today. Then I'm going to show you very quickly my program around how to achieve work-life balance as an executive. And finally, as I mentioned, there will be a Q&A session. So I will start with this chart about a movement that started in the US in 2020 with the pandemic, which is called the Great Resignation or the Great Quit. And actually, in the US, 60% of employees plan to leave their job in 2022. This is a survey that has been done. That is this figure is from end of last year. And actually, HR leaders underestimate the struggles employees are facing as Swedes leave their jobs. So what is happening actually? Actually, what's happening is that 60% of the employees mention an emotional disconnection from their colleagues and the corporate cultures since the pandemic. And that makes them feel extremely frustrated. 41% said employees could do better keeping them informed and connected. Over 60% of employees said the company that appreciates and recognizes their work would help them stay longer. So they feel this lack of appreciation and recognition. 57% said feeling the sense of belonging is missing, and a greater purpose is also missing. And finally, around also 50% said the company with an inspiring mission and purpose would convince them to move jobs. So as you can see, there's an issue in terms of connection with the purpose of the company. There's an issue with the recognition, appreciation of their skills and their work. There's also lack of transparency and information since the pandemic, and it's also this emotional disconnection due also to the part of it is due to the remote work. So let's start with what are the 4 common beliefs, limitations that are preventing you from achieving work-life balance. Belief number 1. Belief number 1, it's I work 10, 12 hours per day. I can't change it. It does not depend on me. So that's very typical belief that I also had in the past. So I know it very well because I was probably where most of you are today. And actually, it's also related to that's the minimum. I can't change it. This is probably the mentality of your boss, of your company, of your parents, maybe. But the message for me is that it doesn't mean that it's an absolute truth, and it is the only way to approach performance and success. The second point here is that our environment and belief system have conditioned our approach to work. And most of the time, we don't even question it. Our managers, our role models, most of them are from Generation X, which is the generation before the millennials. So if they work hard and long, that becomes our way of doing and working. So we also work hard and long without questioning it. And actually in this belief system, which gets to its limitation today with the millennials who do not agree with that mindset, with that belief system. In this old belief system, performance means working hard and long hours, which basically brings us to suffering. As I mentioned, we can't sustain working hard and long hours every day because our brain needs many disconnections during the day. We estimate that every hour and a half, we should have like 5 hours of switch off of our brain. It's like a motor. It needs to rest. It's like a car, you know, it's like it can't stay hit all the time. And it needs to sleep and completely switch off in the evening, like our computers and like our cars and like our ovens and everything we don't use during the night, you know. And here, I would like to ask you a couple of questions to make you reflect. One of them is, I want you to remember time you worked less and you noticed you were more performance. Try to connect with a moment in your life where you worked less and you were surprised by being more performant or as much as performant as before. When was that? So try to write it down, or if you want to share it, also you can share it with me as well. Be more than happy if any of you want to share. And if you haven't experienced it, I really recommend you to try it. It's very powerful. We can only believe and change our belief system when we try, when we take action, not only through the theory. And the second question is, remember a time you felt good achieving a task without feeling exhausted. What was different there? So this is also a second question that I experienced, and many of the people I coach and I mentor experience, and it's very powerful. So if you have not experienced those two experiences, I strongly recommend you to do so and to observe what's happening. How do you feel and what is different, basically? So that's the first belief. Let's go into the second belief. Second belief is, I have to adapt to my boss working hours. He fixes the rules. So basically, in a hierarchical corporate culture for Generation X, our boss fixes the rule. That means he's superior, he decides the rules and the way we work in a team and in a company. And actually, many companies allow their managers, their leaders, to take the lead and decide how long should their team work. In this system, there's few space for freedom of choice, for trust, self-management, and diversity of ways of working. And basically, in this belief system, that is the majority still, yet long hours is positively assessed, because that means that you're a hard worker employee, and that means that you're highly committed. And here, I don't second that belief, of course. I want to ask you also two questions to reflect on. One is, remember a period you left work before your boss because of personal circumstances, because of context, whatever. What happened? If anyone wants to share, I would be very happy to share your experience with the other people. And the second question is, have you ever tried to disconnect at the end of the day? How did you feel when you disconnect, when your body sends you the signals to disconnect and to finish? And that could be in the office or could be at home, basically. I personally experienced those situations, and I started to change because I experienced those situations where I started leaving 30 minutes before, where I started listening much more into my own needs and organizing my agenda depending on my needs, basically. So I can see that Jean, basically, yeah. Hani, you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say that, like, for me, this thing does not happen. The thing that I have is because I'm like just reflecting on the questions that you have here, right? Have you ever tried to disconnect at the end of the day? I do. I always disconnect, but when I disconnect, it's way too late in the day. That's
Okay.
my problem,
So
right?
your problem is the first is what I just mentioned before. It's the it's working long hours, basically.
Exactly.
That's your
Working.
issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my recommendation for you here is I need to try to shorten your day, organize your agenda with the common meetings before certain hours, because there are meetings where that depend on you. There are meetings that depends on other people. So try to make sure that by 6 p.m. after 6 p.m. you have no meetings that depend on other people. You know what I mean? So that would be like the first step. So you can really, that's the first step. The second step is to put something personal on your agenda after 6:30, or something that is meaningful for you. Because what happens is that if we focus our life on work, our life agenda becomes our work agenda. There's nothing else in our life. So it starts from being aware that if I want to change this, I need to start from revising my agenda, redesigning my agenda. I need to put meaningful stuff in it. In the morning, maybe in midday, if I have the tendency to work and to have lunch in 15 minutes, maybe I will organize, I don't know, a coffee or a lunch with a friend. That will provide me social connection, during the day. But we have to do it consciously, because the company will not second us on this. The company is not the role of the company, of our boss or our colleagues to do so. So we have to be aware that, and you will see through the presentation, I will present you tools to do it. But basically, my recommendation for you is don't allow meetings after a certain hour, and make it clear. You can say that as of next month, I'm starting Chinese lessons. Who knows? Who cares? I'm starting, I don't know what. No one can tell you, no, you have to attend the meeting and stop your Chinese lessons. You know what I mean? Put something on your agenda and put it blind, but you're occupied in that slot. You know that in the agenda, you can put it this way. So it needs to go through agenda first. Then you need to find meaningful activities to fulfill, to balance between work and personal activities. And I will tell you more in the meanwhile, Hani, but I hope I answered your first question.
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, belief number 3. There's a belief that is, if I start working less, I will be less productive and less performant. So this is a fear that in corporations, it's a kind of virus, that we have in our blood, in our corporate blood. This thinking is connected with this corporate belief that to be well perceived, you need to work long hours. And the fear culture is very established historically in many companies. And actually, when there's this fear culture, there's very few space to speak up. So people just follow the rules, keep working long hours, very few breaks, not questioning anything, and losing balance over time, basically. But there's a trick here. In this belief system, long hours have positive connotations, because that means that you're a high performer and you're valued for it. And if you're considered and perceived as a high performer, you're promotionally promoted. So it's a trick, because there's a kind of, okay, if I start working less, I will be less performer because this is what they tell me, and then I will not be promoted. And here I have again a question for you. Let's be honest. Do you really think it's about long hours, or about productivity, focus, agile ways of working? Another question is, also from your experience, are the ones that work long hours the most performing?
Oh, definitely no.
You can participate. You can, I mean, if you want to say any comment, Henny, you're welcome again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I believe no. It's not that the longer hours you work, I think it's the less efficient you are. I really do think that, right? So yeah, how do we get there and like to working 10, 12 hours, 14, even more sometimes, or just like and not getting towards where you need to get? Maybe it has to do with the fact of not being like well organized through the day rather than not being like productive or less performant. That
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have a very organized agenda and you have focus and you work during the hours, everyone has a biorhythm, system. There are people that are more productive in the morning, some other people more in the afternoon, some others in the evening. We are different. So it's very important to be aware of it and to focus the most intensive activities in the moments where you are more, you have higher energy, higher motivation, higher drive. And then also balance your agenda depending on your own biorhythm, of course, you can't do it only depending on you, but there's a part that depends on us. When we accept a meeting in the morning or in the afternoon, that depends on us. When they ask us permission for accepting a meeting. If we know it's a strategic meeting, I give you an example, and this meeting is organized as of 5 p.m. No way, because it will not be productive for most people, So then you can propose, hey guys, I believe we will be more productive in the morning or in the midday. So let's do it at that moment, because people don't stop and think about things like that. There's also other ways to be more productive, like organizing slots of meetings of 55 minutes and 5 minutes rests. Not 1 hour, not blocking 1 hour after 1 hour after 1 hour. Then the agenda is full. There's no breathe in between. So there are ways, just think, okay, we will organize 50 minutes meetings that will have a prepared agenda. We'll have someone taking, it's going to be recorded, of course, but someone taking the key highlights of the meeting, and we need someone to do the wrap up, the project leader, and we need to be on time because we need to respect each other and to give a little bit of space to recover and to come fresh to another meeting. That's just an example, Henny. Okay, so let's follow to the fourth and last belief, negative belief. That is, work-life balance is a myth. You have to sacrifice one of them. So this is a very common one, and I used to have it as well. Again, and here there's a reflection. If this is a real myth, why millennials make it their #1 priority and implement it? Because millennials, when they enter a company that has a belief system, a corporate culture that is based on hierarchy, control, low trust, long hours, no place for learning, no place for personal life, only place for performance, they quit. Most of them. This is why millennials, there's a turnover. Every 2 years, they change job, because if they're not connected with the purpose, if there's no work-life balance, they look for another company. And actually what's happening in these believe that the work-life balance is a myth, it's because the corporate culture allows few space to balance. Because in their conception, it goes against performance. And there's something in this system that means that if someone that is in balance will not be as performing because he will not provide all his energy or her energy to the work, which is not true. That's a belief. And in this system, balance means also employees can have other interests, which could be a threat for the commitment. So it's important to understand where it's come from and to understand that it's not an absolute truth. It's only one belief system that grew from a generation that was focused on performance and defined those codes in the company. And it's also important to know that this change of mindset will hardly come from the companies, even if some of them start promoting it with some like balance rules, you know. And this is why this change should come from you, from inside, from the employees themselves. And here I have also a reflection for you. Imagine that you keep working as you're working today, with low work-life balance. Imagine you reach 85 years old and your grandchildren ask you you want to give them advice regarding how they should live their life and how they should balance their life. What would you recommend them? Would you recommend them to follow you the same thing you did? Or would you recommend them something else that you didn't do? Any comment is welcome, of course. So yeah, important to think about, is it something I'm proud of, or is it something that is actually from a place of suffer, that is harming my balance, is harming my physical, emotional health? And actually, if I have to give an advice to my grandchildren, probably I will tell them to take care of themselves and to find the right balance between work and personal life, you know? So that's just reflections for you. Any questions so far before I move to the 5 secrets and the tools for work-life balance?
Not on my side.
Okay. So so here, this is the summary of what we have just seen. So I will move into the 5 steps to create more balance, which interests us tonight, basically. So secret number 1, if we want to find balance in our life, the first step is to identify what drives our energy up. And that means, what are our passions? What are our hobbies? What are our interests? And to do so, the first step is to clarify your life purpose. That means, what are your passions? What drives you every day? What is your high dream? Those are critical questions, because we can't achieve balance if we don't have meaningful activities in our daily life. Which life would you like to have? If you were not in your job today, which life would you like to have? If you could create your career, if you could design it yourself, what kind of job, professional project would you choose? Then also, where would you like to live? Because today, thanks to the pandemic in this case, remote and hybrid became very normal. So we have the option to decide also where we would like to live. We are less constrained to live close to the office. So, and the place where we live is meaningful, and it's part of our purpose, and it drives our energy up. So this is the first step, is to clarify your life purpose and identify what drives your energy up. Once your life vision, your life purpose is clear, then your career vision gets clear. Why? because career needs to fit. The career vision needs to fit into your life vision. It's not life that fits into career. That's an important change in mindset. Most of the time in corporates, work is everything. It occupies our mind, our energy, it takes our patience, it takes everything, it takes our health. And then the rest is for the family, is for our self-care, is for our friends. And then you stop and you think, is it really normal that I put all my efforts, all my energy, all my health, physical, mental, emotional, I give it to a company, and actually I don't leave anything to my personal life, which is supposed to be my first priority, because most people mention that their family and friends are the number one priority. But then when we look at how they handle their life, it's the contrary. So the lack of balance are coming from this contradiction in priorities between what we want and what we say and what we really do. So the more this gap is high, the higher the level of stress is. So there's a definition of stress that I love. That is, stress is basically the gap between what you want and what you do. And that's very true. So that's the first secret, identifying what drives your energy up, because then you can put it on your agenda. You can start doing, I don't know, salsa lessons. You can start doing Chinese lessons, Arabic lessons, yoga lessons. You can start teaching in a school. You can start doing so many things in life that drives your energy up. But first you need to identify them and then to implement them. And by doing this, you will progressively balance and your energy will go up and you will be more productive at work. Because at work, we create value, but we need to be nourished with activities that provide meaning to be able to be productive at work and provide that performance as well at work. So that's the mindset I want you to keep with. I will move now to the secret number 2. Secret number 2 is work-life balance is nothing else than the balance between the most important areas of your life. And it's here, I show it this way because you can visualize. By visualizing, it's easier. So if we want to live a balanced life, we need to balance between different areas that are meaningful for us. So what are the most common meaningful areas in life? Of course, you can have one more or one less, but basically we psychologists consider that those are the 6 areas that provides us meaning and that they're important in our life. So that's basically our health, our relationships, our work, our finances that provides us also security, mental security, fun, enjoying life, and spirituality. So most of people dedicate 80–90% of their time, which is their life, to work. So everything here and a little bit here somehow. But most of the time here, there's very low dedication. So there's a reflection. I invite you, if you have the possibility, to really rate those dimensions from 1 to 10. What is your level of satisfaction in each of those dimensions? 1 being the low level, low satisfied, and 10 would be I'm fully satisfied. Just to be aware of where you are today. That's the diagnosis part. We need first to do diagnosis before we take action. And work-life balance requires daily habits that provide you together balance. So it's the mix of the daily habits that will be related to all those dimensions that will provide balance. So most of the time I explain it, it's kind of, we are kind of tree with roots. So if we just have if we have like those 6 roots, but there's only one that is big thick and long, and we nourish only that root, and the rest are short, thin, and weak, the tree will fall, basically. So we can't sustain it long, in time. So we really need to nourish different dimensions. It's not about perfection, it's about balancing. So if I'm in a moment where I'm lacking sleep, for example, which is one of the biggest also issues that people in corporate are facing, then I need to take action on this. And I need to sleep more. If I need to disconnect earlier, to do some yoga activity before I come back home, before I have dinner, then I have to do it, because this is critical. This is the priority. It's one of my roots that provide me balance. In another moment, you will sleep well. You don't need to put the focus there. Maybe you need to put the focus in your relationships, or in your finances, or fun, or spirituality. So I just want to show you this as if it was, the roots of a tree and how you can nourish each of them. And the daily habits, basically, here I put some tips to improve your work-life balance, like simplifying, making self-care a priority, creating time in your schedule for your own needs, get started early to organize your day, spend time on the most meaningful activities. Could be alone, could be with people, with friends, with family, partner, etc. Get enough sleep, that's a basic one. Have a healthy, of course, food, diets as well. Make yourself the biggest priority. And as I just mentioned, except there's no perfect balance. Balance is not about perfection, it's about balancing. It's fluid, it's flowing, it's not rigid, So basically, that is very helpful. Secret number 3. Your ideal agenda should balance between your body and mind and spiritual needs, and between all the dimensions. That means that your agenda should integrate your whole life, not only work. And here I have a question for you. What are your top weekly priorities, work and personally wise? And how much do you dedicate to each of them? And I also invite you to imagine your ideal agenda. How do you visualize the way you wake up, the way you exercise in the morning, or what do you exercise in the morning? What kind of reading you would like to do if you like reading during the day? What kind of lunch, dinners would you have? At what time? With who? What kind of meetings would you like to have? What kind of coffees would you like? What kind of family and friends time? So those are really important questions to be tackled, basically. Secret number 4 is, let's take examples on top leaders that have been able to balance between their personal and their professional life. And it's not perfect. They're doing their best. That's what matters, to do your best. And not to copy Elon Musk or Satya Nadella or Mark Zuckerberg agenda. No, it will not work. It's about having the will and being aware and really balancing between activities that provide you meaning and activities that provide value to your work. So it's the balance between both. And here I would like to share with you what are the high performer competencies that are needed at work that will allow you to be to free time for yourself and achieve more work-life balance. So let's start with the one on the left that is in blue. So the ability to prioritize is critical. if you want to save time during the day. Working well in teams with engaged teams, high-performing teams is also important. So the way you manage teams, the way you collaborate with teams will make them efficient. So that will also save you time. So that's time for you after. Organizational awareness, also being aware of how is the or organization organized and how can you influence it at your level. Can all influence at some point and up to a certain point. Being effective in solving problems, being self-aware, being proactive to anticipate and better organize the agenda, our team's agenda, and at the end, the agenda of the organization. Also, the ability to influence people will also help us save time, save conflicts, save discussions. Effective decision-making is also a skill that will also help us be more effective and therefore save time for ourselves. Learning agility and technically savvy, which is more and more important. So basically, this has to do with what I call developing a growth mindset and positive habits that will provide you self-confidence, that will also provide you clarity on your priorities and give the space to work and give the space to your personal needs, basically. And secret number 5, and that's the last one, create a planning that integrates your life and the work needs together. What does that mean? That means, this is an example that I created to show you how could the planning to inspire you to create your own planning. So basically what I did, I start from the right. I start with what is personal, provides meaning. What is professional provides value, basically. So in the personal side, we have meals, we have sleep and rest, we have exercise, meditation, and then we have family and social life. I'm, of course, summarizing. There could be more spiritual. We could put it on the exercise meditation, but I do it, I simplify it. On the professional value, on the professional side that provides value, we have meals because we have lunch during our working days. We have meetings. We have also professional networks. We connect with people, connections. And then we have learning and growth. That is part also of the professional time. So what I put here is, so it's in colors. So as you can see, there's balance between the personal, which is this pink and blue, this green, all those slots at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. It's personal. It has to do with self-care, and it has to do with social connections, family included. And during the day, it has to do with meetings, but work has not to be only meetings. It's about meetings, it's about professional networks. So here, for instance, you could dedicate half an hour in LinkedIn to connect, to engage and share content. So that will help your own positioning. That would also expand your network and make you feel connected with people. Another one that is important, learning and growth. So learning and growth should be part of our journey at work. So dedicating 1 hour, maybe half an hour, is part of our work journey. And finally, the meals, you could decide that you take 2 days per week and you dedicate them to professional lunches with people you choose. Could be someone from your team, could be a client, could be a friend, could be whatever. What is important is to visualize this is a planning for a senior executive. It's absolutely feasible. And it includes everything you need to achieve balance. It includes time for sleep, for rest. It includes time for meals that could be alone or could be with people. So social meals, social with social lunches, connections. It includes exercising every day, half an hour / meditation / other activities, could be yoga, etc. It includes family social time. That means breakfast and family time. That means pre-dinner, preparing the dinner together, having dinner together, and after dinner. It could also be a lunch with someone from your family during the week. I mean, here I put professional lunch. You can also have one of them that is with a friend or with someone from your family. So I summarize it here in the bottom, saying that our active day, taking as a slot from 7 to 10 p.m., the total hours excluding sleeps are basically 15 hours. So in this case, total work time in this agenda is 9.5 hours, which includes 1 hour of lunch and 1 hour of learning. That means 7.5 of meetings, 1 hour lunch, 1 hour learning, and it includes 5.5 hours of personal time. So Jenny, I see that you raised hand.
I have a question. Why do you consider this learning and growth on the professional side and not on the personal side?
I could have added it as an additional dimension. I just did it this way. There are many ways of doing it. I put it in the professional part because I consider personally that we, in this moment and in the future, reskilling will be mandatory for everyone. Which doesn't mean that you can't have half of it. You know, could be 30 minutes of professional content and 30 minutes of personal growth content. And actually, I called it learning and growth. Yeah. I put it here to simplify, because to you know, not to create an additional line, but you can definitely split that in two and have 30 minutes and 30 minutes. That's better because that's more balanced. Absolutely. Here it's just a model, just an example. You have to make it your own. For me, the purpose of this planning is to show you that it is out of a journey of 15 hours of active time. You can have 5.5, you can have 1/3 of it that is personal, meaningful, and you can have 9.5, including 1 hour lunch and learning, that is creating value and being a high performer. Any questions so far, Henny?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, good. So, so basically, if I have to summarize, because I saw people joined after, the 5 secrets to master to achieve work-life balance while staying a high achiever is, first, I invite you to identify what drives your energy up. If we don't have energy, if we don't have positive energy, we're not performing at work and at our, and we don't have good relationships. So here my advice is make sure that you really have activities that are related with your passions, with hobbies, with interests, have positive conversations, attend events that provide you well-being and inner joy. Because all this will drive your energy up. And if your energy is up, you will be more performing and you will have a better impact. You will be communicating better also at work. And you will probably be perceived as someone with impact. So that's the first step. The second step is to reflect about, are your current beliefs above serving you or limiting you? Then your ideal agenda should balance between your body, mind, and spiritual needs and capitalize on both, basically. Take examples on top leaders and develop a growth mindset, positive habits, and self-confidence. And finally, create a planning that integrates life and work needs together. So that's basically, like, if you're able to follow those steps, it can really create a step change for you. And now I would like very briefly to share with you my latest program, that is Achieve Work-Life Balance Now, which is a coaching and mentoring program that is designed for basically senior managers and executives in corporate. So there are 3 modules in this program. The first module is about discovering your life purpose and your why, because that's the starting point, as I mentioned before in this masterclass. So we start by doing a lives audit, by uncovering your core values. We do your ikigai. We define what is your high dream and vision. We get you rid of the negative thoughts and daily habits that are not serving you. And I help you develop a growth mindset and empowering habits. Once we have done this part, then we can move into what are your drivers in life. So what are your passions in life? What are your passions at work? Because we have also passions at work. What are your conversations today? What are your needs at all levels? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So in this part, we identify what deeply drives you and drives your energy up. And we take it into account to build new habits and to build your new agenda and your new routines, which is the 3rd module that includes your new habits. And here, I teach you successful habits of high performance that are able to balance, build a new support system that will provide you this balance, create your ideal agenda and make it a reality, and finally, implement new routines that respect your personal needs and your professional duties. And then your balance plan is ready. So this is a program that lasted from 3 to 6 months. It includes weekly practices, weekly follow-up, accountability, one-to-one coaching and mentoring sessions, a weekly action plan, weekly Q&A sessions, daily support, and also 14 days of free trial since the first session. And there's 2 bonuses that are Ikigai course and habits of high performance. And basically, this program you could applicate to by April 7, which is next week, and is limited to 7 people, because I already have part of it that is booked. And actually I have the gift for the people, for all of you that are attending tonight. And it's actually 14 minutes free clarity coaching session to book by tomorrow. So you can see, can discuss together your career, your current career and life challenges, and see if maybe this program is a good fit for you. So this is the link where you can book, where you have access to my online calendar, and you can book this this free clarity session of 40 minutes. So you have to book by tomorrow, but then you can planify it for next week or after next week, basically. And this is it. Thank you very much. And now we will move into the Q&A section. If you have any question here, I will be more than happy to answer. So I see Mariana that just joined.
All right. Sorry, I really wanted to join, but I was still in the office, so it is for sure that I need to join coaching. Okay. So yeah, indeed, Hani invited me. So yeah, I am very interested in
Sure. So joining. Please click on the just to make sure that you benefit from it. Click on this link so you can on the chat, so you can book a session with me in the next weeks, and okay. And you will also receive the I can also send you the replay.
Perfect. Yeah, this is what I was.
You missed the first part. I can do it as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions so far from Jenny or Mariana? Anything you would like to ask me about? Challenges I haven't maybe tackled, or basically the program I just presented?
On the program, do you have a specific days to attend the program?
It will start on end of April.
Okay,
so in a month approximately.
And which days is daily or
It's weekly.
weekly?
We can actually, Mariana, we can discuss that on the, on the free strategy session. We will have coaching session we'll have together. We can discuss the details, but it will start end of April and it's weekly. Yes, absolutely. It's weekly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Anything else?
I have a question that might be like outside of what the masterclass was about, but it's do you have any like coaching sessions in regards of more, yeah, so let me try to explain, but it's more about like, I believe that sometimes it takes like a while for me to focus. It's because I'm not concise. So I have not found a way to be concise. So then I spend a lot of time, which like in my mind is a waste of time because I cannot get to the point. See, like right now.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. I understand what you mean. That's yeah, the capacity to summarize and synthesize, basically. So that's has to do with clarity of mind. When we have when our mind is when we have space, basically here, we're able to quickly find the right words and put them together. When this hardware is saturated, the words come not in the right way. That happens to many people. And yes, we can discuss it. If you want, we can discuss it separately. Yes, because it's different. But yes, I tackle everything that is related to performance, focus, planning, organization, concentration, everything that turns around career, and the challenges at work, I tackle them. Absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so
Okay.
then I'll put a session and so then you can explain a bit further how can I
Yes, absolutely. We can discuss that.
sessions about them because
yes, absolutely. Mariana, any other question so far?
No, by now. I will.
Not by now. Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for attending. I hope it's been useful for you, and I hope you will implement part of the tips because it's needed. Basically, it's needed. We need to find the balance at any way.
Yeah.
Yes,
And,
for sure. Thank you so much. It was a super great session. I took lots of notes, so I'm very thankful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your feedback. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.